All right, guys, welcome to episode 7 of the Trinisphere. We'll not be covering Adam's new EDH variant he dubbed Planar Chaos this week.
Womp womp.
Because there's Hour of Devastation set, it's out, and we want to talk about how it impacts EDH. So, as always, we want to thank our sponsor, TapTap.net. And if you like our show, please support us by subscribing on YouTube. I am Shannon the Timmy, and I am joined here by
Ryan Spikemeister.
And Adam the Johnny.
Oh, that's very simple.
That's both
nice. All right, today on this episode, we'll be covering the Hour of Devastation legendaries, the Hour of Devastation cards that we think will impact EDH, and we'll update you on how our budget Gods League is going. Spoiler, the new gods are better. All right, the legendaries are up first. The first legendary we're going to talk about is Jeru with Eyes Open. Jeru with Eyes Open is a white legendary. He's 3 white for a 4/3 with Vigilance. And he has 2 pretty nice abilities. One says, when Jeru with Eyes Open enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a Planeswalker card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. His second ability says, if a source would deal damage to a Planeswalker you control, prevent 1 of that damage. What do you guys think?
So, I don't really like the card that much, I'll be honest with you. But all I can think of is Gideon.deck. Just
Oops, all Gideons?
Oops, all Gideons. There's 4 of them. I mean, realistically, the guy does tutor for every white Planeswalker. So, I mean, if you play him as
Elspeth, Gideon, and...
Elspeth, Gideon,
Yeah.
and Elspeth, and Gideon, and Elspeth, and Gideon. But
There's
yeah.
also a Johnny Nahiri. Don't forget.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not
Everyone
wrong.
forgot.
Everyone.
Right.
I mean, you get Steadfast plus this guy, that's reducing what? Or that actually eliminates all damage, doesn't it?
Yes, if you can ult Steadfast in this guy.
Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Realistically, though, I don't think I'm going to be building a mono-white Planeswalker deck. But you never know.
Somebody here might be. I am certainly not. I'm whatever. I saw this card and I was like, ooh, it's a story point. Who cares? Like, it doesn't do anything for me. There's no real, like, combo or innate synergy other than you go get a good stuff Planeswalker in white and you play this in a mono white deck, which isn't that great to begin with. Yeah, I'm not feeling it. Shan?
You know who likes Planeswalkers? I love Planeswalkers.
Yes, you do.
So, you know what would be great in addition to having a 5-color Planeswalker deck? A mono-white Planeswalker deck.
Wow.
Yeah, all those Planeswalkers that I don't use because I said I hate Planeswalkers that require creatures to do anything relevant. Now they have a champion that can do things with their cruddy combat tricks.
Wow.
So.
You won't.
All right, so Jeru, I kind of like him. It sounds like the rest of the guys do not, but I will be trying out a mono-white Planeswalker deck based around him. So we'll see how it goes. Next up, we got Neheb the Eternal. And Neheb the Eternal is a 3 red for a 4/6. Jeez, big guy. He's a zombie Minotaur warrior. Lots of types there. Yeah. He's got a flick 3, and he has, at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, add a 1 red to your mana pool for each 1 life your opponents have lost this turn. What do you think, Mr. Spike?
I like this card better than the other Neheb. Wasn't there one of them?
Oh, yeah, the discard
yes,
one.
It's better than the
black
really bad Rakdos one.
He also looks a lot cooler. I mean, he's standing on some
he looks like the
yeah.
I mean, I bet that foil looks really, really hot.
Oh, sure.
I mean, I might actually just want to have one just to have it.
Just to look at it.
So the Spike started talking about art. That means he doesn't like it.
Okay. I think it's cool that it specifically states not damage dealt by him. It's just damage dealt in general.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a board state, you play him, you smash face for a bunch, like maybe with a Hellrider in play and all this other stuff, you could generate a ton of mana. Plus, I think there was someone talking about Heartless Isugu with him and weird stuff like that. But I mean, you could hit for a bunch and then Earthquake and kill everyone. So
yeah, my take on it is there's not a whole lot of mono red commanders that I actually find interesting. And this at least has a little bit of build around potential. I think it also goes in, what is it, Rakdos, the one that cares about how much damage has been dealt. Yeah. It can go in that, or it can be a standalone. The standalone still seems a little boring, even though it's a very interesting design. But, you know, the most interesting thing I can think of to do with this is like Pyrrhemia for 5, get tons of mana, and then Pyrrhemia more, or Fireball. Like, really great design. I think it's a fun card, but it's not really up my alley. Shan?
I kind of agree that it feels like the best way to use this guy is to cast a big spell on main phase and then post combat reap those rewards. He seems kind of like combo centric, maybe for a big spell deck. Maybe I'll try him out in Gisela, but it doesn't really grab me. Initially, he seems like he's combat centric, which lots of red mana and then combat swinging don't necessarily always go together. So it'll be interesting to see a build with him, but I don't plan on running him as a commander anytime soon. So we'll see how he pans out.
I think he feels conflicted, like a little bit of burn, a little bit of aggro. Like I don't know what he really wants.
He doesn't really know
yet.
what he wants to be doing with his life. So maybe he'll find out eventually.
Just take a bunch of extra combats.
Oh, I like that. Aggravated assault maybe? You could just deal 5 every combat or something?
I think you would win the game.
Yeah. That seems like a good combo wombo. All right, next up we have Razaketh, the Foul-Blooded. He is an 8 mana demon. He's 5 black. And you actually get an 8/8 this time for 8 mana, so no complaining there. He is a flying trample, and he has an activated ability that says, pay 2 life, sacrifice another creature, search your library for a card and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Wowzers. What do you think, Spiky?
I think the card's ability is insane. I don't think generating 8 mana in black is very difficult with all of your lovely Cabal Coffers, Cryptcast mechanics. I think he may or may not be a general that you could potentially stick and then win the game on a regular basis because he just finds everything you need with like a certain combination of cards like Dark Ritual into this, into that, into Rock, into I just feel like I think it could be game over just by sticking him.
Yeah, fetching combo is pretty easy.
Yeah, no, exactly, and he's your general, so he's sitting right there, and he's your win con. That's by letting him resolve. What about you, Johnny? You wanna combo out the wazoo?
No, I hate this card. I don't know. I mean, tutor generals as a general thing is super boring.
Arkham Dagsson. Well, sorry. Something caught in my throat. Oh, sorry about that.
General.
Hey, you got to work to make that thing work. No, not really.
You got to sacrifice a guy for this.
I know. You have to sacrifice a guy for Arkham too.
That's true.
I think he's better in the 99 than he is at the helm, honestly, because I think you can ditch him really early on or entomb him really early on and then resurrect him, and then I think he's very useful. I think at 8 mana, actually casting him, you're gonna be hard up to do so in a lot of games. Not all of them, but in a lot of them, he's just gonna sit in the command zone. Tutoring multiple times in a turn is very good. Like I can't. I mean,
can't get around that.
Right.
No way to cut it. Well, I'm thinking he is pretty busted. I mean, he reminds me of Gristlebrand. Gristlebrand, obviously a little easier to activate with just paying 7 life. This guy requires a creature to sack, so if he lands and you have 2 creatures, go get any infinite combo. This seems kind of broken.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be something to watch out for. I imagine some people will be building him as a commander, but like you said, I think he might be better as a reanimator. I've been working on a Mimeoplasm deck that uses like Necrotic Ooze and some other guys to use all the activated abilities of the guys in your graveyard, so I would love to have this guy in my graveyard. Yeah. I think Razaketh's pretty good, so we'll have to see how he pans out as well, and if he gets banned like Gristlebrand did.
I don't think he's going to get banned like Gristlebrand because he doesn't have the lifelink added to it. Like, Gristlebrand just fueled itself so much.
I don't even think you needed it. I don't even think people swung with Gristlebrand. Usually they just won the game if you resolve.
Well, yeah, I mean, drawing 7 cards is pretty...
you draw 35 cards before you go down to 5 life. And, All right, next up we got the Locust God. And we kind of talked about him before, but we'll go over him one more time in case you guys did not tune into our last episode, you plebs. The first god we're going to talk about is Izzet colors. He's 4 blue and a red, and he's a 4/4 flyer. And he says, whenever you draw a card, create a 1/1 blue and red insect creature token with flying and haste. And he has an activated ability that says 2, a blue and a red, to draw a card and discard a card. And of course, he has that new Hour of Devastation God ability that says when he dies, put him back in your hand at the beginning of the next end step. So what do you think, Spiky Spike?
Well, as you guys know, he is my budget god.
Oh, that must be hard on you.
Yeah.
Real hard to brew. Is it really tough to figure out what to put in there?
Yeah, because I only have $50.
Card draw. What am I supposed to do to draw lots of cards?
$50.
You really only needed the Skull Clamp and as many ways to fetch Skull Clamp as possible.
That's kind of what my deck does. Right now, I currently have every combo a $50 deck could muster.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that because the only time I lose is when I miss a color. And that does happen. But yeah, I think this guy is going to see a lot of EDH play. I don't know where he would land in like a 99, but at the helm of a deck, this is a very unique card for Izzet, in my opinion, as a general. A lot of them are Spellslinger decks. This is kind of a Spellslinger. You have Storm Potential, I guess, but just the fact that you just have to draw cards to make an army is pretty cool. What about you, Johnny?
Combo. I love every bit of this. It's so insect much haste. Like, it's just all the good. I think this is a super good as a commander. 6 is a little bit high for a commander sometimes. Some people like to stay away from ones that go up that high, but he goes infinite or just is so much value so easily that it's hard to argue with the Locust God. I love this guy. I like my Melic deck, but I kind of almost want to build the Locust God because it's just that good.
It's gross. That's disgusting. That disgusts me.
I know.
Yeah.
So Shannon, what are your thoughts here?
You can't deny how awesome this guy is. No. He rewards you for doing everyone's favorite thing in Magic, drawing a card. He rewards you for drawing multiple cards. He reminds me of Niv Mizzet. The more you draw, the harder you win. And gosh, you don't even have to do anything. You don't even actually have to cast the spells in your hand. You can just wait to counter stuff. Just by drawing cards, you're innately winning this game.
Yep.
I feel like he is pretty busted. I feel like if you guys have a Niv Mizzet deck out there, you could easily put the Locust God on top and put Niv Mizzet in the deck, and you could just swap them back and forth whenever you feel like, winning with insects or winning with direct damage. But I think he's pretty busted. I am sad that I did not get him in Budget League. I'm happy that somebody did, even if it is the dirty, rotten Spike.
I mean, at least someone built him right.
How could you build him wrong?
Something tells me someone in our playgroup would figure it out.
I did it. I made him awful. Anyways, all right, next up we got the Scarab God. God numero dos. So we have a 3 blue-black 5/5. He has, at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life and you scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control. He also has a 2 blue-black activated ability that says exile target creature from a graveyard and create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. And of course, he has that Hour of Devastation God ability that puts him back in your hand whenever he dies. So, Spike, what do you think about this one?
Okay, I think this is the second best God from the set. And the reason I say that is because I think they kind of left a lot of versatility, allowing him to be built 2 separate ways. Mm-hmm. They have the zombie tribal theme where you can just go zombie tokens into Gravecrawler into just, flood the board with zombies, right? So you get that real true tribal feel. And if you get to your upkeep and you have 10 zombies in play, it's like exsanguinating. I mean, you don't gain the life, but you hit everyone for 10 at the table and you scry 10, which just puts
That's insane.
Yeah, no, like that's just
that is ridiculous.
That's just crazy to me that you can that you get that kind of value off of him. I think this is going to be one of those threats that it's going to be off the board a lot, because if this is around for an army of zombies, it's going to cause a lot of headaches for people. The other approach would obviously be mill. I know mill is a huge favorite of a lot of people. I know a lot of people hate getting milled, but you could mill people, and then you could just use his ability with like training grounds, and start paying 2 mana to make copies of people's creatures, their best creatures, and then you get the ETB triggers and all that nonsense. So it definitely has a lot of potential in both dynamics. So I don't know, I kind of like him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he is, while the Locust God is definitely the combo-iest one and probably the one that I'm drawn to the most, I would say that the Scarab God feels like the most value. It's a 5/5 for 5. It has a solid first ability if you're in the zombie tribal thing. It's actually not bad even if you're not in the zombie tribal thing, because he makes zombies. Paying 4 to get a 4/4 copy of something in your yard is perfectly good value.
Any yard.
Oh, any yard. That's right. So, yeah, he's very good. Not really my thing, but pretty intimidating. Like, I am not looking forward to games against it.
Unique fact, he can actually get rid of the Eldrazi Titans on the stack.
Does the trigger still happen, though? So you would have to build a little more? Yeah.
You would have to build a little more, but you get rid of it for good. Chances are you have an Annihilator 4 on the board.
There you go.
I mean, it's a 4/4, but...
Right. All right, Shan, what do you think?
I like this guy a lot. I feel like he may be... If ironically, there's 3 of them. If the Locust God is either... I don't know, you guys can fight over that. Whatever, you want to be Spike or Johnny. This is the Timmy one, I think. He is win more. You get an army of zombies. Now you don't even have to attack the zombies. They're just naturally killing everyone.
Yeah.
Just by existing. And then you have the mill fun using Undead Alchemists to try and increase the size of your army. You get to steal other people's cool creatures. He feels Timmy. He checks all my boxes. I may maybe play around with him. I do have a Fenax mill deck, but it's just not really strong in EDH. So maybe I'll come around and try and rebuild Dimir using the Scarab God. Very excited. He might actually go to Mimeoplasm too. I'm kind of thinking right now. Like, if Mimeoplasm was a copy of him, then the Mimeoplasm dying gets a trigger to put him back into my hand. I don't know. Some synergies there. So I like this guy a lot. And we'll go on to the third, less loved, ugly as heck Scorpion God. He is 3 black and a red for a 6/5, and he has an ability that says whenever a creature with a -1/-1 counter on it dies, draw a card. And he has an activated ability that says 1 black, red, put a -1/-1 counter on another target creature. And then, of course, he has his God dying trigger. What do you think about this one, Spike?
Realistically, I did make a statement. I do think he is the worst. I don't think he's the worst Rakdos general, but I think he is, in fact, the worst of the 3 gods. Part of me wanted to build around him and kind of mess with his -1/-1 counter, but overall, that's a weak synergy in EDH, in my opinion, and that it costs 3 to put a single -1/-1 counter on up to 1 creature. This guy just gets outclassed really quick. Like, I mean, you could start putting -1/-1 counters on creatures to shrink them, and then like damnation, but then you kill your own god. And
I feel similarly. I think that he is not that good, which is unfortunate because I really like a lot of the stuff that he has going on. The -1/-1 counter thing is something that I like to play around with, but you have to build a pretty elaborate machine, not in quite the right colors. If this was green-black, then this would be super easy, like awesome build. But in Rakdos, it's like you kind of build Wither Deck or Bust. And, there's Nest of Scarabs and Blowfly Infestation and things like that that can augment this and can get a good little machine going. But it's just not amazing.
Hapatra 2.0.
It's like Hapatra, yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, Shan, what do you think?
I think I agree with you guys. This ability set is actually pretty interesting for Rakdos. Not something you really see very often. Mm-hmm. But the support isn't there yet. I think we all kind of like wanted to try and build the Scorpion God. The other two kind of build themselves. You know what to put in the other 2 decks. But we really want to like scratching our head like, how do you build a Scorpion God to be like competitive? And we tried, and it didn't feel like the support was actually there for Rakdos, unfortunately. So I think this is kind of the guy that I'm going to keep my eye on and hope that future sets can build upon the -1/-1 synergy, seeing if we can possibly push him into like a tier that isn't almost entirely garbage. But beyond that, I don't think he's going to be making huge waves. I don't know. You guys let me know if you guys can put up a cool list. I am always interested. So next up we have Unesh, Cryosphinx Sovereign. This is a 4 blue 4/4 flyer, legendary Sphinx. And he has an ability that says Sphinx spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. And he has another ability that says whenever Unesh, Cryosphinx Sovereign, or another Sphinx enters a battlefield under your control, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles and put one of those in your hand and the other in your graveyard. So he kind of has a smaller factor fiction. What do you think, Spike?
I really don't want to talk about this card.
You just hate it. Just like flat out.
I just don't want to talk about it. Like, I mean, they messed up on so many levels. They made a mono blue general for Sphinx finally, and it was only mono blue. And most Sphinx are overcosted and underpowered. Adam, your turn.
I'm happy that it got printed because we do have a Sphinx general that is not. Well, this is a Sphinx tribal deck, and it's really just Shroom. The factor fiction thing is nice, because you kind of have like the Sphinx of Uthun thing going, but for all of your Sphinxes, it makes your 7 casting cost and 6 casting cost Sphinxes very actually playable. But this guy has to be on the field to do that, so otherwise your curve is just way high. I don't think it actually got there, but some people who are really wanting the Sphinx tribal are going to be happy with it, but I don't think it's actually that good or playable.
I feel like it's leaning way too far towards Timmy.
Look, some people,
absolutely,
it panders to some people, and it's not me.
So yeah, once they revealed this guy, guys, I was hyping it, and I was like, yeah, he's Sphinx. And I actually tried. We did a tribal way back when, and I actually tried to use Sphinxes back then, Sphinx Eye, whatever you want to say. But I tried to bring him again when this guy came out, and once again, I felt disappointed because with him as a commander, you don't have access to the most brutal Sphinx Eye, which are the Esper Sphinx Eye, Magister, and Steel Wind.
Is it not Sphinxes?
I don't know.
Right,
sure.
Can we have a Sphinx Eye count on Shannon real quick? It's just going to go ping, ping, ping.
So, obviously, he wants to be the commander to discount things, but then you lose access to even like Metamai, who's like a mediocre, but could be a commander himself, and then Asperias and stuff like that. There's so many good Sphinxes that are not mono blue that it makes it makes actually building this deck feel disappointing.
Thanks, werewolves.
So, as like I said with the last guy, I'll keep an eye on this guy for more mono blue Sphinxes coming out. And And hopefully we'll get enough to make me not miss Magister Sphinx.
Wizards is just trashing these tribal generals.
Yeah.
So that brings our legendary review to an end. I think the ones we liked piecemeal here, I kind of liked the Scarab God. We had some like for the Locust God, some like for the Razaketh, and then everyone else is kind of meh on the rest. So next up, we'll be talking about the top cards we think will be impacting EDH. All right, up next, we're talking about our top cards we think are going to impact EDH. So I'll go first with a Crested Sunmare. And this is a 5-mana 5/5 mythic horse. He has 2 abilities. One that says, other horses you control have indestructible. And then he has another one that says, at the beginning of each end step, if you gain life this turn, create a 5/5 white horse creature token. I've never been excited about life gain. There's a couple of life gain commanders out there that kind of pique my interest, but this guy makes life gain feel like it nets some kind of value other than delaying the inevitable. I like this guy a lot. It's very easy to trigger on everyone's turn. I mean, you pair this guy with like a Soul Warden, and you're basically, anytime somebody plays a creature, you also get a 5/5 indestructible. I'll probably only be looking to put him into life gain centric decks, and then maybe one day we'll have a horse tribal. But beyond that, I like Crescent Sunmare. Anybody else have any thoughts on this beater?
By all means, Adam. I know you go first. Please, before Beauty.
Yeah, I love this guy.
Yeah?
This card
You're big on the Sunmare train?
Amazing.
Yeah.
I there's got to be ways that you can basically just passively gain life on each person's turn. Like you said, Soul Sisters kind of thing, so that you're getting an additional 5/5 every turn. It's really strong. It's well costed for itself, and then it pumps, or it makes all the rest indestructible. Very good card. Super excited for it.
I'm not a big fan of the card. I mean, it's on curve 5/5 for 5, I guess. The fact that it does generate value on the end of each end step is where I guess it shines. The immediate home that I can think of is a Tristani deck.
Yeah. Oh man, so good.
The populated effects just make 5/5 indestructible horses.
Yep.
And then I always thought about it, like if you were able to clone it, you would have 2 that would make them both indestructible.
All right, so hit us with one of your cards, Ryan.
I'm going to talk about my first one's going to be Driven to Despair. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Driven
to Despair.
Driven to Despair. I just found out that's what they do now. It's 2 instead of and. It was pretty bad. I didn't even think about it, and then I had an epiphany. All right, but this card is it's a sorcery. It's 1 green, 1 colorless, and it says all the creatures you control get trample until no turn, and when they connect, you draw a card. That's the first half. So it's a 2-mana Anthem Trample already. Like, even 2-mana Anthem Trample is pretty decent. But now when they connect, you draw a card. That's pretty cool. Now, if you want to get a little spicy and pay an extra 2-mana 1 and a black, they also gain Menace and make them discard a card. So if you got a giant squad, hitting people, you can make everyone discard their hands and you refill yours. So I think this card has a lot of potential. I could see it going in a Marin deck because she has some weird synergies with the graveyard, so it does both. And for 4 mana, this card does a lot. Menace, Trample, discard, draw. That's a lot for 4 mana. And even in EDH, that's a lot. And I also see it in a Saskia deck. Yeah, so, I mean, I think this card has a lot of potential. I mean, yes, you're restricted to green-black, but it goes in any Jund variant, any...
Yeah, I kind of like it for Hapatra too. I think Hapatra there's some builds out there that are like, maybe I'll go wide, and this seems like a really good thing to do all wide.
Yeah, I mean, it seems very win more to me. Yeah. Like, you're already hitting with like X number of things. Yeah, like you said, you've got kind of a big team. And so if you're swinging with a big team, then the trample matters. Like, do you really need the card draw? You're kind of already ahead. So it doesn't really...
But it's a 2-mana... Okay, so take away for instance, take away the draw for just a sec.
Right.
2 mana make all your things have trample. And that's a lethal blow. Like, not everything has trample on it. And just because you're playing a Stompy deck doesn't mean it has trample. So... Oh,
I'm not saying it's not a good card. I'm just saying, like, you're already kind of in a winning position. So from that quadrant, I don't know that it does.
It seems a little strange in Golgari, which doesn't necessarily go wide all the time. So that's why I was thinking, like, maybe Hapatra might have this sort. But Adam, what do you got?
So my first one is Angel of Condemnation.
Oh, yeah.
Angel of Condemnation is 2 white for a creature angel, 3/3 with flying and vigilance. And it has 2 abilities. 2 and a white, and tap it to exile another target creature. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Or 2 and a white, tap it, and exert Angel of Condemnation. Exile another target creature until Angel of Condemnation leaves the battlefield. Yeah, I mean, you can either O-ring or flicker something. Seems pretty alright. I think this fits primarily in a flicker deck. I like just getting that kind of like extra value on like ETB triggers and things like that. So I think that's where it fits. What do you guys think of that about this guy?
I'm not a big fan. I don't like Exert. I really don't like that ability. I just hate losing the creature for a whole turn.
Yeah.
And he's a little small for EDH.
I feel like he does have a home in potentially a flicker deck. I like the fact that he has vigilance. So you could potentially get in a little bit of damage before, and then leave up his ability if necessary.
Right.
All right. Next up, I've got the Majestic Myriarch.
Yes.
I think that's how you say it. And it is a 5 mana, 4 colorless or 4 generic, and a green for a star. And the star is equal to double the number of creatures you control. Big. And at the beginning of each combat, if you control a creature with flying, Majestic Myriarch gains flying until end of turn. The same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance.
Bringing that word soup.
Oh, man. I still think they need to come up with a word that identifies all of those like combat abilities. So
right.
You can just say
Evergreen. Has Evergreen.
Yeah, it gains all Evergreen abilities or something. But he's not legendary. Darn! But he is pretty insane. The power level and all the abilities, it seems like so much fun. Just to be able to surprise, blast someone with the most insane creature they've ever seen out of nowhere. So I like what this guy brings to the table. I don't know where I'm going to put him yet, but I am going to keep... he might literally be a build-around. So we'll see. We'll make some kind of...
All the keywords.
Yeah, keyword dot deck. I like him a lot. So Ryan, what you got for number 2?
Number 2, I have Mirage Mirror.
Nice.
And I think this card is just a value engine. It's a 3-mana artifact that has an ability on it that's activated. It can be activated at instant speed. It can become a copy of any artifact, creature, enchantment.
Or land,
yeah. Or land, yeah. So I think this goes... I don't think this goes in any deck, but I think that it goes in any deck that you're trying to accrue value, because... Maybe even a control deck, perhaps, because it allows you to pick the best possible option on the board. So if someone has a Cabal Coffers, you make this into a Cabal Coffers, generate all the mana. Mm-hmm. And then you have all that extra mana that turn. Someone has Mirari's Wake, another mana source. You kind of... And then if someone's got a dude, you just make it into that guy and attack. Like, a big dude that generates value.
Yeah, this thing does it all, right?
I don't know. I just feel like this thing just kind of does whatever you want it to when you need it to. So, and at a very low cost of 2 mana.
Yeah, I think it's a really good card. Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I think it's basically just value. There's probably a lot of untapped potential. Like, a lot of people have been discussing it, but we don't know exactly everything that it can do yet.
Yeah. For you guys who like to make infinite mana, I'm really curious to see if you can set up like the most insane turn where you target every single permanent with abilities in the stack and then proceed to go through all of its iterations and try and activate things while it's versions of things before it becomes something else. It'd be a lot of fun. All right, Adam, what do you got up for us for your number 2?
Next is Solemnity, which is 2 and a white for an enchantment that says players can't get counters. Counters can't be put on artifacts, creatures, enchantments, or lands. There are some really obvious things that people have already come up with. Decree of Silence is obviously very strong with this because you just counter everything. Mm-hmm. Phyrexian Unlife, you can't die.
I like that one.
Glacial Chasm, you can't take combat damage. Yeah, so cumulative upkeep, everything basically goes well with this. So even your Mystic Remoras for just lots of value and things like that. It's cheap enough that you can play this early game and still be open to do lots of things on upcoming turns. This card is pretty busted and already warping the prices of cards quite considerably. What do you guys think on Solemnity?
I think it's actually probably one of the more interesting cards to come out of the set. I think its impact is going to be felt across probably all formats.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much talk about what it can be utilized for in other formats, obviously. In EDH... When I see a card like this, I think it's got like hosing potential for certain decks, and I guess you could. And it comes back with a Sun Titan trigger. I don't look at these cards and say, "Wow, that card is going to make my deck. Like it's going to be awesome in my deck." Because you're playing 99, and if you're playing building a deck around Summoning, you're doing something wrong in my opinion. I mean, if you already have, I can't. What do you guys know a deck that would just go in right now? Without
Probably.
adding
So the one like you mentioned, it's tough to build a deck around one of your 99 cards, but the one that came to mind was Xur the Enchanter because he just goes and gets it.
Oh, yeah, no,
immediately.
okay, fair enough.
I don't even know what the rest of the deck will do. I haven't looked into it because Xur has much better iterations than getting Solemnity, but you can make a fun Xur, maybe fun. I'll use fun in air quotes because
Astral Slide Xur.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know where Solemnity fits in there, but all right. So we'll have to see how that goes. Next up on my list is Overwhelming Splendor. This is a pretty egregious Timmy card, being that it is an 8 mana enchantment, but it's pretty neat. It's a curse, and I am keeping an eye on the curse count because I definitely will be building a curse EDH deck sometime in the future.
Curse.deck.
Curse.deck. So this says for 8 mana, 6 and a white, enchant player, which is the most unfortunate part when it comes to EDH.
Yeah.
And it says creatures enchanted player lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 1/1. So basically humility. Then it gets tacked on with a second one that says enchanted player can't activate abilities that aren't mana abilities or loyalty abilities. So just goes ahead and hoses all kinds of crazy activated ability style decks. So this thing is a big humility, only hits one player. But the fact that it's a curse just has me already kind of interested in keeping this on my radar. Won't go into anything yet, but it would be kind of funny to Academy Rector getting Overwhelming Splendor. I don't know. It'd be kind of funny. What do you guys think?
If it hosed Planeswalkers, it would be mildly playable.
What do you think?
Nope.
Just nope.
Just
altogether?
a hard stop. Nope.
It's also notable that there's a second really nice thing for fetching curses. I think it's called the Accursed Witch.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, not a Cursed Witch. It's
the Bitterheart Witch.
Yeah,
That's what it
Bitterheart
is.
Witch.
So when she dies, she just immediately curses someone. So go get that Overwhelming Splendor.
She's a 4-mana 1/2, so she dies.
And the
pretty
Curse
easy.
of
She dies to like a sneeze.
Curse of Misfortunes also.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's kind of what I want.
Yeah.
That's the build around. Part
She
of that
almost
deck.
acts as a like a propaganda for you because no one's gonna attack. No one's gonna attack.
No one's going to come because they don't want to be overwhelmed by my
I will
splendor.
curse you.
Ryan, what do you got?
My next card is one of I think it might be my second favorite in the set when it comes to EDH potential. It's Rune Up Excavator. Ruin Up.
I think something like that.
I don't.
We're all guessing.
All these names are just
Ramoon.
god awful. Anyways, so he's a 3 mana, 1 green, 2 colorless, 2/3 that is a Crucible of the Worlds.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know what Crucible of the Worlds does, it lets you play land cards from your graveyard.
Yep.
Anyone who's played Magic for even a little bit probably knows how powerful of an effect that is. This immediately goes into an Azusa deck because it's strip-mine.deck.
Gross.
So it's your second Crucible.
Disgusting.
It also, any kind of green-based dredge deck will love this card because you just have the ability to play any land that hits the bin. I don't know. I think this card is just going to have a ton of EDH play. A ton.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely niche. You know, probably more so than Crucible is because you can't play it in every color. But very, very strong card. I agree. I don't think it'll ever get to the prices of Crucible,
No.
but it's a very good card. I like it.
I like it a lot. I think it does have a little upside in a dredge style deck over Crucible due to the fact that sometimes you're dredging, you need creatures in the bin. I'm going to put it in Mimeoplasm because I'm trying to win with the hilarious Mortal Kombat. So a Crucible that counts towards Mortal Kombat or can be copied for whatever reason by some creature copying effect seems good. It is also notable that during the release week, anyone who goes to the release day events will be getting a Run-and-App Excavator. So that'll keep the price reasonable, I hope.
I think they might have done that on purpose, knowing what kind of effect a functional reprint.
Everyone's going to be wanting.
I mean, they're already peaking $6-7 right now.
Yeah,
which is, and the set's been out for not even out.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, what do you got?
So my next one is a common. Firebrand Archer is 1 and a red for a 2/1 human archer. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Firebrand Archer deals 1 damage to each opponent. Kind of a second Gutter Snipe. I mean, he's obviously vulnerable. But Gutter Snipe is definitely playable, especially if you're doing some kind of storm, Cheerios, eggs, anything like that you're potentially casting a lot of stuff in a turn. You know, this can easily do 10 damage in a turn to each player.
I'd rather just play Gutter Snipe, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Gutter Snipe is obviously significantly better. The 2 damage per cast is way better. But this is kind of like your impact tremors to the Perforos.
That's what I was thinking. It's I play usually both in whatever deck that runs
Right.
Perforos. You also run impact tremors, so the same thing with kind of gutter snipe.
Yeah.
If you could fit room, sometimes gutter snipe deck is just so packed full of spells you don't have room. But if you do, he seems like a good slot.
Yeah, I mean, like in the Spellslinger deck, I think
Sheet.
you can go Firebrand Archer, Gutter Snipe, Sphinx Bone Wand in your progression, just like you can go Impact Tremors, Perforos, Warstorm Surge.
Yeah.
You know.
Fit Pandemonium in there or something.
Pandemonium.
Okay, cool. Next up, I have Torment of Hailfire. What a sweet spell. So this is Nicol Bolas at his finest. This is Nicol Bolas sorcery right here. This is the closest we'll get to, I guess, Cruel Ultimatum in this set. It is X black sorcery, and it says, repeat the following process X times. Really weird wording to start. Each opponent loses 3 life unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. So I like to call this like a torment effect. So it torments X times. I played against this a little bit in the pre-release, and it was pretty tough to beat, but I can't wait to see it affect multiple players simultaneously. I know when you ever give your opponents the option to pick, it's never ideal, but I think that the hilarity factor of watching them all scramble against this spell is worth it. It is not, I mean, it feels like it should be an XX black card.
It does.
But it is in fact X black. So you can, if you pump out 10 mana, if you pump out like 10 mana, then they're going to be in a lot of trouble. So seems like another good big black X spell. What do you think?
Well, everyone knows that even remotely cares that I love Mind Twist. I love Mind Twist. This is worse than Mind Twist, but Mind Twist targets someone. This hits everyone. So in any big black, deck that wants to play X spells, like it already is playing Exsanguinate, I think this runs right next to it. I think it's worth playing both. That extra mana that you're creating with, we talked about earlier, Qual Coffers, obviously. But I feel like the value is there for this spell.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you do, if once you get to a certain number, I think maybe if you get past 6 is when it's really worth it, because, and especially once the game has progressed, the card only gets better. So it's a nasty top deck because, if someone's already got minimal cards in hand.
Yeah, if you're at X equals 6, their options are lose 18 life. Or they can discard some of the cards. They can discard their hand. Say they have like 3 or 4 cards in their hand, discard that to mitigate some, and then they're like losing permanents. So as long as they're not wide build. As long as you're not up against like a token deck, this thing is just devastating, I think. Yeah,
I lost to it.
Oh, yeah?
I had it countered, and I won with it, all in one pre-release.
So it was just the whole spectrum of awesome.
I saw a lot of this card. It does things, man. Like, it's definitely strong. I think people are underestimating the Torment effect. I really like it. I think it's fine to play against. Like, it's not as unfun as an Exsanguinate type thing. And it's a very strong ability to use. So, yeah, pretty interesting card.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, what do you got for us?
Up next, I got Nimble Obstructionist. And Nimble Obstructionist is a 3 mana, 1 blue, 2 colorless, flash flyer. But it has cycling for the same mana cost, 1 blue and 2 colorless. And when you cycle it, it counters a triggered or activated ability. So basically, you got yourself a Stifle Bird, and it's pretty funny to stifle people. People don't like being stifled, especially when you hit fetch lands. I will say I like this card. I mean, I do like this card. But I really wish it was an ETB effect.
Yeah.
I mean, the cycling is fine, but you're
imagine like this guy was like an Evoke 3 on the ETB counter or something like that.
Something like that. Crazy. Yeah. Because I like that it can be utilized in both manners, though, because it can either be a 3 mana flash flying beater, or it can essentially be some sort of weird counterspell that draws a card. Yeah, I think this could be played in like Kefnet as like it helps diminish edicts. It helps draw cards and counter abilities. Yeah. So stuff like that. I mean, if you're getting hit with Umlog,
and let's not forget it's a 3/1 flash flyer, so that is gonna kill some planeswalkers that thought they were okay.
Or a flash blocker.
Yeah, flash blocker, or that is a decent sized clock in like other constructed formats. And EDH, it'll definitely help too in a pinch. So
Tangy and Afara, and I don't care.
All right.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, this card just doesn't do it for me. I mean, like, it's not like the counter is too niche. I don't think a 3/1 flyer is that good in EDH.
Your last card was a common.
It was a 2/1 with it.
A 2/1.
Cool ability.
Okay.
It's okay. He doesn't know what counter spells do. So. All right, Adam, you are up, sir.
All right, so my next one is Abandoned Sarcophagus.
Ooh, that's a good one.
For 3 mana, you get an artifact that says you may cast non-land cards with cycling from your graveyard. If a card with cycling would be put into the graveyard from anywhere and it wasn't cycled, exile it. So this is pretty much exclusively for the ever-burgeoning cycling deck that exists.
Oh, we're going to call it the cycling deck. We're not going to call it the Astral Slide deck.
Get out of
I'm
town.
calling it the Esper cycling deck.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because you're going to play the 2 enchantments from the last set that you drain people and you do all the things and you Astral Slide also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's playable in that kind of thing. This is more of a funsies card. I don't think you're going to, in most decks, have enough cycling cards for this to matter. But it does make Nimble Obstructionist a little bit better, I guess.
It doesn't need to be better.
Yeah, no, not a fan.
I think it is cool. It's like, Yawgmoth's Will. Everyone compares it to Yawgmoth's Will. And it will go nicely into the Zur Slide.
Liking it.
Yep.
What about you? Do you have anything notable for your next one?
No, I just have this worthless card as the last one of my set. Nicol Bolas, the God Pharaoh. So I mentioned him last time. Super stoked, but if you didn't tune in or you don't know, you've been living under a rock and you don't know who this guy or what he's about. Nicol Bolas is a 7-mana planeswalker. He's 4 and a blue, black, red. He comes at 7 starting loyalties, so pretty tough to beat off the bat. He has a +2 that says target opponent exiles cards from the top of his or her library until he or she exiles a non-land card, and until end of turn, you may cast the stolen the card. All right, he has a +2 that says target opponent exiles cards from the top of his or her library until he or she exiles a non-land card. Until end of turn, you may cast that card without paying its mana cost. He has a +1 that says each opponent exiles 2 cards from his or her hand. He has a -4, which says he deals 7 damage to an opponent or creature. And he has a -12 that says exile each non-land permanent your opponent controls. So it felt like during the pre-release, everyone but me was pulling this thing. Anyone who got any kind of prize support, I think I split with a guy who proceeded to open one, and I just was kicking myself. So I still don't technically own one, but I'll fix that soon. And also, he's going to be in the SDCC promo set, so I'll probably be forking up way too much cash for that guy. But anyways, like I said before, he's not quite as good as the original iteration. He doesn't deal with every kind of permanent like the original one done. The other one can destroy non-creatures, and it can take control of creatures, so there's no permanent that can stand against the original Nicol Bolas. This one is a little bit more toying with his opponents by stealing their things and playing them against them, or beating up their hands. So I do like him a lot. Gonna play him in some Planeswalker as soon as possible. So what do you guys think about this guy? Do you think he is at all impactful?
No, I've made my statement about him originally, was it episode 4 or 5 when we talked about the spoilers or the leaks or whatever they were.
Yeah, the leaks. It was way better.
Yeah, it was the leaks. And I don't like him. I mean, he costs too much mana. His abilities are weak sauce. And
that +1 though, exiling 2 cards from each opponent.
That's really good.
Can add up
it's a
real
strong
fast.
effect, but I'm not paying 7 mana to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Some of his abilities are a little bit underpowered. Fun design, cool design. I think he'll make some impact in EDH because people who crack him are going to build decks and they're going to put him in there. But long lasting, I don't think so.
All right, up next on my list, I got Bontu's Last Reckoning, which I believe was also, we talked about at one point. Okay, so this card's really good. I mean, it's a damnation with downside. I think that this card, I mean, granted, you can't really compare it to Deluge, or you can't compare it to this. It's all the same card, but I don't think the downside is going to be that big of an issue. I mean, if you're really behind, I think this card can really save you.
Yeah,
because it'll let you wipe and put threats on the board, and I don't think that your opponents will be able to come back as fast as you did possibly. Mm-hmm. Because you're mono black, you'll be able to immediately put threats back on the board. Hopefully, with that excess mana you have laying around.
Right.
How do you guys feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see plays of what you're talking about, where it's kind of late game and you're still going to use it because you're going to be able to rebuild more than everybody else is. So the skipping the turn doesn't really matter as much for you. You could also go the other route of playing it and then leaving your stuff open, so then when it comes back around to you, you do still have mana available. I'm not huge on it, but it's not a bad card by any means.
I'm thinking about maybe playing him in the Planeswalker deck because I guess if you have a couple Planeswalkers out, then they're kind of effectively casting their spells without requiring mana anyways. So you're still able to do a lot on your turn when you have no mana. So yeah, I'm still on the fence. I still am on the fence. I have seen it played in the pre-release or the pre-release, but I'm still on the fence. Don't know yet. The jury's still out, so I might give it a try just to see for myself, but we'll have to see how that pans out. So, all right, Adam, what do you got?
All right, so my next one, I am going to skip around my list a little bit and go to Endless Sands. So Endless Sands is a land desert that taps for a Wingding, and you can pay 2 and tap to exile a creature you control, pay 4 and tap and sacrifice it to return each creature that was exiled under Endless Sands to the battlefield under its owner's control. This is mostly for some of my pet decks where I have like delayed triggers or weird effects, but it can also be used just as protection. I mean, if you're playing something that you are pretty board wipe heavy on, and you have also a lot of creatures in there, and you just want to save them so that you have them available the next time that you board wipe, and you can just sack this and put all your dudes back out. It's good. You can easily get blown out by somebody like killing it, but other than that,
Strip Mine!
Strip Mine will do it. Shane, what do you think?
I'm really big on those effects, but it definitely has utility, especially on ETB triggers.
Yep.
Safe Haven it is, I guess.
It's too slow and janky for me.
Yeah. I don't think I'll be running into anything particular, but I respect its existence.
Yep, there you go.
Now.
I will respectfully put it in the bin with a Strip Mine.
Would you even use a Strip Mine on that? I mean, I guess
depends on what's under it.
Yeah, once he started to accrue some value, like, gonna Strip Mine that guy bad.
If he puts like a Angel of something that does bad things, then yeah, sure.
The Angel of something that does bad things?
Yeah.
Is that
Angel
a
of
card? How much is that
Condemnation,
cost?
I think is what he was
okay. Okay, so I guess I'm going to go on to my last one, and I know it should be a shocker to everyone that Nicol Bolas is not the last card on my list. So my last card is Nicol Bolas the Deceiver. Yes, we got 2 Nicol Bolases this set, so I can do all Bolases. Well, it's only 3 and then a creature, but still. I was just, sandbagging my excitement. There's so many Bolases in this set. I love it. So Nicol Bolas the Deceiver is the weaker brother or iteration of the other God Pharaoh, but he is still Nicol Bolas, so respect. So he is a 5 blue, black, red, 5 loyalty Bolas. He has a +3, so he rolls up pretty fast. And his +3 is the Torment effect, which says each opponent loses 3 life unless they discard a card or sacrifice a non-land permanent. He also has a -3, which says destroy target creature to draw a card, which is sweet. And then his -11 says deal 7 to each opponent and then draw 7 cards. So it's a less game-ending version of his original ult, but it hits all opponents as opposed to a single player. I will also be playing this one. I know he's probably significantly weaker than his other iterations, but who can have 3 Bolases in their collection and be a self-respecting fan or Timmy and not run all 3 in the same deck? That's all I got to say about that, and I don't even really need to hear what you guys need to say.
I don't want to say anything.
Yeah, it's fine. It doesn't matter. 3 Bolases.
I stopped listening.
Don't worry about it.
I mean, I think he's actually pre-ordering for a decent amount, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, because no one bought that garbage Planeswalker deck.
What is he? He's $8, and I think the Planeswalker deck is only like $15.
Because his name is Nicol Bolas. That's why he's
yeah,
$8.
I mean,
respect. Hey. All right, Ryan. What is your last card?
The best card in the set for EDH.
Oh, so you also have Nicol Bolas. That's pretty sweet.
Nope, sorry.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say your favorite card. I said the best card.
What do you got? What is it?
All right. In my opinion, the best card for EDH out of this set is Hour of Revelation. Is that the name of it?
Yeah, the white.
All right, so this is basically a better planar cleansing. Yeah, planar cleansing is triple white, 3 colorless. This is triple white, 3 colorless. However, this has the clause that says it costs 3 less if there are at least 10 non-land permanents on the battlefield. This is just something I like to say, please play more, please play more, please play more, and then wipe it. And then I just paid 3 mana and I like to play an additional threat. Like this card is really powerful. Yes, it's triple white, so it will most likely be in primarily white decks, but people still play Crypt Command in 3-color decks. This card is still playable in 3-color decks.
I mean, 2-color definitely. I think Cryptic Command in 3-color is the greediest.
I mean, I don't necessarily.
I like to watch people fail.
If your mana is good enough, I think you can play triple color of a certain card, especially if it's a powerful enough effect. And I think this card screams value.
I think it's very good. It's almost always going to cost 3, and that's it. I can't see it ever costing. I mean, in a game of EDH, each person has 2-3 non-land permanents out, that's very easy to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Especially people have those fast start with like mana rocks and stuff.
yeah.
You can really roll someone.
My issue is, do you see planar cleansing being played in EDH? I don't play it. The problem is, like, you have to play around your spell real hard.
Yeah.
Like, you can't commit anything to the board. So it takes a pretty unique deck to be willing to sacrifice every permanent you have. Or some, very aggressive opponents.
It's going in Avacyn.
But I mean, I don't run it. Obviously, it blows up Planeswalkers, so it's not going to go into that deck. And I don't really feel like there's a lot of decks that I play that don't just like try and ramp with rocks and stuff. So I don't ever play Planar Cleansing. I respect its existence. Haven't really seen a build that runs it. You guys show me what's up when it comes to cleansing planes.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, last card. What do you got?
My favorite card of the set that I did not get in my prize packs or my pull is Obelisk Spider in Uncommon. He is a 1 green and a black for a 1/4 spider with reach. And whenever Obelisk Spider deals combat damage to a creature, put a -1/-1 counter on that creature. Whenever you put one or more -1/-1 counters on a creature, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. It drains for -1/-1. Love every second of it. Hapatra got a new toy. Lots of things that want -1/-1 counters got new toys. Black Sun Zenith, get there. We love it.
All I want to say is you made the comment that you didn't get one in your prize packs, and it's probably because you didn't get any prize packs. Ouch!
I was 3-1.
How many did you win?
3-1,
also
sir.
a big fat 0?
Oh, probably because I didn't go to a pre-release like you plebs.
All right. I'll tell you what it's like to be 4-0, pulling a foil Scarab God. No Nicobolas, though.
Yeah, how's it feel?
Everyone got one but me. Yeah, that is it for our look into Hour of Devastation. So there is some small impact to EDH as a whole. There's some cool cards to play with, and there's a ton of Nicoboluses, which makes me happy. So what do you guys think about it? Let us know what you think. Any cards, any decks that are going to be rapidly changed, or any commanders you plan on running. That wraps that up. So up next, we'll be talking about a quick update on how our Budget God League is going. All right, we got an update from our Budget God League. So if you guys didn't tune in last episode, what we were doing as a group, we started a Budget God League where everyone was doled out random gods. They get a pick, and then they had to build a deck that was $50, not including their god. So we decided to do for this league, for scoring purposes, to see who is the best of the best. We split the teams into Amonkhet and Athreos. So every EDH night, we have a couple of 2v2 matches of 2 Amonkhet gods versus 2 Athreos gods. And we're keeping track of those scores.
Locust God, 2-0, baby. Guess
whoa, pump the brakes. Hold on. Let's talk about the matchups last week.
Wait, the matchups? Who cares?
Let's
Locust
talk about
God, 2-0, baby.
Let's talk about the matchups. Okay, so the first matchup last week was Xenagos and Krufix versus Hazoret and Bantu. Would you like to comment on how
Adam,
that match went?
what happened?
What happened?
That was on you.
That was all Xenagos. Yeah, I mean, like Krufix didn't even need to be there. Xenagos was just dropping all of the 50-cent rare giant creatures.
That's with tramples doubled into.
Yeah, I mean, Hazoret and Bantu, actually, we held out for a lot longer than I thought. Because, I mean, Hazoret,
some negative synergy there, right? With you trying to play Hazoret and your teammate basically destroying creatures all the time.
Yeah. I mean, Hazoret is not as bad. I think it impressed people as to how resilient it actually was, keeping an empty hand at all times. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, it just got outpaced. It was literally, couldn't get rid of Xenagos, and he would just play a big creature, give it haste, and
smash
right
face.
in the face. It was pretty tough.
Yeah, I was pretty worried about Xenagos as an opponent. We'll have to see how the Krufix deck pans out and stuff like that. So match 2 last week was the proverbial dream team of the Locust God and the Scarab God paired against Thassa and Karametra. How'd that go?
We won.
Oh, really? Okay, that pans out.
Okay, yeah, no.
The 2-0 you're claiming.
Okay, so anyways, basically what happened was the Scarab God was able to put a pretty significant amount of power on board pretty quickly via... you just had power. He kept hitting for like 14, 13 a turn, and they weren't really able to do a whole lot about it. And then finally, I think what happened was I comboed off, and I won.
Yeah,
so
I guess that deck does that. Yeah, I guess Thassa and Karametra don't seem like they'll be early game decks. Both of them are kind of trying to ramp Well, Karametra's just ramping naturally, and I think his Thassa list is kind of more towards like massive
Devotion and
Leviathans
stuff.
And stuff like that.
I don't think killing the Karametra's Burnish Heart with an Izzet Charm and him being stuck on 3 lands for 4 turns was
you're a freaking monster. All right, the last matchup, I do vaguely recall this. Kefnet and the Locust God. You ran it back a second time that night. Good for you. Against Xenagos and Karametra. So we had our matchup against Xenagos. I was pretty scared about this going in. The game plan for me was just to counter Xenagos' significant efforts while you kind of comboed off. And you just had to be faster than Karametra really in that matchup, right?
Yeah, no, a lot of the game fell on you controlling the board. I stumbled actually pretty early on. I missed a couple land drops and I was kind of hurting there for a while. But luckily I was able to accelerate into my mana rocks and start producing quite a bit of mana, actually more than you at one point because I just kept hitting my rocks.
Yep.
But then at some point in time, I think you ended up using one of your draw spells on me.
Yeah, I blue sunned you for like 4 or something like that to get you back in the game.
Made a bunch of dudes for a lethal swing to block, and then one of the cards that I drew was my Ash Altar, so we were able to win on the next turn, and it was just like sweet victory. Yeah.
So if you guys don't play Two-Headed Giant, man, it's so much fun to get these synergies across decks and get some weird combos. So
yeah, absolutely.
Overall, the league is 2 wins for Amonkhet and 1 for Athreos. The overall rankings are Locust God winning 2-0, Kefnet 1-0, Scarab God 1-0, Bantu 0-1, Hazaret 0-1. So
Adam,
we have some dead weight on
shaming the Trinisphere.
We have some dead weight on Amonkhet, on Team Amonkhet. On Theros, we have a 1-0 Krufix, a 1-1 Xenagos, an 0-1 Thassa, and an 0-2 Karametra. We also have a couple of people who did not make it out last week to get their games in. So we have a Perforos, an Athreos, and a Mogis looking to make waves starting next EDH night. So all these deck lists will be available for you guys to look if you want to check out our budget league deck lists, and you guys should try it. It's a lot of fun. I do really enjoy the $50 budget limitations.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think that one of the things that I found playing Hazaret was that I don't think that deck would be playable in a non-budget scenario.
Yeah,
like the
get a whole lot of value.
Yeah, the constantly keeping your hand like empty. Most of the cards that do that only cost like 10 cents anyway.
I wonder why.
Yeah, so the budget actually works well for it. A few changes I'm going to make to the deck, but not a ton. Just a little bit more ramp is needed, basically.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in on episode 7. Thanks again to our sponsor, tappedout.net. And you can look those budget lists up there. If you are watching us on YouTube, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And click that bell icon to get notifications for episode 8. You can find us on the web at thetrinisphere.com. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You can find Adam the Johnny as Squire9999 on Twitter and Squire1 on Tapped Out. You can find Ryan the Obnoxious Spike as Snapmaster on Twitter, and I'm Ryan Reese, so creative on Tapped Out. Yeah. You can find me as the one and the only Nikki Bolus on Twitter and Tapped Out. And so stay tuned for episode 8, where we will truly, hopefully, be covering Adam's Planar Chaos game type. And that is a game type that he's been working on, in which we use plane chase cards to create a board that you move around, kind of with pieces to represent your location, and kind of fight a strategic battle using spheres of influence. So we'll see you guys next week, and as always, it's not about winning, it's about sending a message.